You're listening to Unpacked with PMMI, where we share the latest packaging and processing industry insights, research, and innovations to help you advance your business.
Hi, and welcome to Unpacked with PMMI. I'm your host, Sean Riley. In this episode, we welcome Jessica Lawshe from PMMI and Don Kline from Map Your Show. Together, they explain how AI-powered tools are making it easier for buyers to find the right exhibitors and to better navigate trade shows. We also cover how exhibitors can use tools like Sales Accelerator and strong online listings to better connect with the right audience and drive real, actionable business results. Let's have a listen. So with all the fancy introductions out of the way, welcome to the podcast, Jessica and Don. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi, Sean. Thank you for having me.
And welcome, Don.
Hey, Sean. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm going to start my first question with Jessica. I understand you've been working on this pretty big project to help buyers, regardless of their industry knowledge, quickly and easily find the products and companies that they need. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you've been working on and how this is going to impact the exhibiting experience?
So what we've been working on is a new AI-powered search tool called OmniSearch. It's one unified search experience designed to connect the buyers to the right exhibitors more efficiently. And what makes it unique is that it's a single search query, two different types of search results simultaneously on the same page. So the first is category-based recommendations.
Okay.
When a buyer types in a general term, let's say beverage packaging.
Okay.
The OmniSearch, which is trained specifically on our packaging and processing product categories, produces the most relevant categories for them. So in that example, you'd see results like bottles and jars, cans and canisters populate, along with a did you mean suggestions to help refine further. Every one of those results links directly to a filtered list of exhibitors in the Map Your Show directory, specifically the ones who've selected that category in their online listing. Now, the second type of result is a step-by-step guide tailored to the buyer's end product with the option to generate a packaging guide or a processing guide. So if someone searches for pet food and selects packaging, they'd receive a guide walking them through each stage of that packaging process with each step tagged to relevant equipment categories, all linking back to the exhibitor listings on Map Your Show. So as an exhibitor, that means you're not just getting found in a search, you're getting in front of a buyer at each specific stage of their process.
Very cool.
So the great thing about our OmniSearch is that a buyer enters their query once and both sets of results generate simultaneously on the page. Essentially, it's one destination, one search. And for exhibitors, that means two powerful layers of exposure, all leading back to the listing and putting them in front of the right buyers.
Very neat. If I picked beverage packaging, what would pop up for did you mean or what did you mean?
The user starts with a general term, then the results produce recommended categories, but essentially it's to help the user refine their search and find what they need better.
It's helping them along because it can be daunting to come up with a specific search. So I love that it's giving them kind of terms for that. That's really cool. Don, so I've been to entirely too many PAC Expos to count. I'm a big fan of Map Your Show for how it's helped me get around the show floor. And it seems like every year you guys have something new. Every show you have something to enhance the show experience. And from what I understand, one of the newer ones is this Map Your Show Connected. So what is Map Your Show Connected and how does it work? How is it going to impact my trade show planning or an attendee's trade show planning?
You know, I can't tell you how well it dovetails to what Jessica was just talking about.
Okay.
And creating these experiences for the attendee. There's this whole AI revolution going on out there, and folks are talking about large language models, and there's all this stuff that's happening. And really what it comes down to, as a user, you're going to PAC Expo, as a technology provider, what do we need to provide? And when we saw the power of what can happen in AI, just as Jessica was talking about earlier and what PMMI is doing, we saw this really fit well with the attendee experience. So as an attendee to PAC Expo, and I've stood on that show floor many times myself, and it's overwhelming. What we're trying to do with MYS Connected is unify this experience. And so we're bringing in all the information that is available to us as Map Your Show as a provider. So that's exhibitor information, it's session information. We're going out and doing some searching, even on websites, to get more information around exhibitors and what they may have. And as the attendee interacts with Connected, it's learning. It's learning what the attendee wants. It's focusing on that behavior. And so we then start to really drill down and provide a unique, hyper-personalized experience for every single attendee. So if you're interested, and you're just talking about beverages, and you're interested in certain types of beverage packaging, which, having been on that show floor, I can only imagine there's thousands of different kinds of packaging solutions for different things. We can help tailor that experience and help that attendee find what they're actually looking for. And then because it's artificial intelligence and because you have this LLM backing it, you actually start to suggest things. It becomes a discovery tool. And then we can create these hyper-personalized suggestions for the attendee to go visit more companies and exhibitors, to go visit and really find the education and the sessions they're looking for. And because, as you can imagine, from Map Your Show being a mapping tool, we can then look at this from a logistical standpoint. And how does that attendee, you walking miles on site, in whether it's Chicago or whether it's Las Vegas, we're trying to reduce that journey so you're seeing more exhibitors and more sessions in the time that you have. So we can not just get into suggestions, we can actually help you navigate and find the best journey through the show. It's really revolutionary stuff for trade shows. And it's because AI and the power of that in the background, what we can do with all of the data, and we can do it so quickly now. That is really one of the things that it's almost mind-boggling. You look at this and all of this stuff is happening and creating for every single attendee. You're creating a unique experience for them. And it's something we've been trying to do in the trade show industry for years. New technologies that have been available we're excited to launch this. We can't wait to see this on PAC Expo. It's really an ideal use case for it because, frankly, the show's so complicated. I can't wait for your feedback on how this product actually works in action, because that's what we're trying to position it as. And then feeding off of what Jessica said, we're trying to put more attendees in front of these exhibitors. Sure. We're trying to provide more value to that exhibitor who's investing in the event. And we do that by creating more connections, facilitating that connection between the buyer and the seller. That's what we've always done as the trade show industry, and this helps that.
That sounds amazing. You touched on the exhibitor a bit, but how about, from what I understand, there's also this newer option for exhibitors to gain similar sort of insights from the attendee behavior called a Sales Accelerator. Could you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And that was actually our first foray into AI.
Okay.
Was using this to try to help with the return on investment to exhibitors, looking at the attendee behavior and then informing the exhibitor what these attendees' intentions were, and then providing these overlapping areas of interest between the attendee and the exhibitor, and putting reports in the lead section of Map Your Show for the exhibitor, and making that available to the exhibitor so you can see behavioral intentions. And then we do data enrichment with that product as well. And so we're adding, in this case, we're adding Zoom info to the product that's got company info, but then we can also add additional context to that as well. It's providing more value. It's getting you deeper into that organization and what those attendees are searching for and what their behavior is, to provide more context when you're trying to reach out. And because LLMs are excellent with communication, we can provide email templates for that exhibitor to reach out with that context to that attendee. It's a wonderful tool to start that sales process. And being the recovering salesman myself, I wish I had that back in the day. It would have made me a lot more effective.
It streamlines a lot of the kind of admin parts of it.
You're really focusing on what's important, right? You're drilling down and let's start trying to contact these attendees that may be interested in what I'm doing, but it's not a cold introduction. It's, hey, we'd like to show you more about this that you may be interested in, because you know that these are things that they've searched on. And because we can see behavior across their entire agenda planner, we can get pretty detailed into the kind of information we provide the exhibitor on how to talk to that attendee and meet them where they are. And that's such an important part of communication nowadays and marketing. We've all come to just expect it. It's not even when we get a cold email or a cold outreach, it goes right out to the delete file in our email or wherever that is, because we know that person doesn't know us. And what we're trying to do is give that exhibitor a chance to get past that, get through the door. Ultimately, in this B2B environment and something that's as highly engineered as certainly the packaging industry, providing that context really puts you in favor with that attendee right away, because you're not, as you said, you've attended so many of these shows. The last thing you want to deal with is a bunch of correspondence coming back to you that no one really knows why I was there and what I'm doing. It's a waste of the company's time that's doing the correspondence and the outreach, and it's a waste of your time on the receiving end of that. We've tried to get in front of that with that product, and we're obviously excited about that. And then you bring in what PMMI is doing on the front end. You bring in what the MYS Connector product does in creating more leads. All those products build on themselves to provide value for the exhibitor. And that's really what's so exciting to me, is because in order for all of us to be successful in this, we need to provide as much value as we can to the exhibitors and to the attendee. Keep the attendees coming back so they have a great experience and they're interacting with these exhibitors and revealing what their interests are. That ultimately, think about that. That's what makes us valuable.
Yeah, and it sounds like from what both of you have said is that this has made the online listing in the exhibitor directory even more important than it was before, making sure that your online listing is completely up to date and is completely filled in as much as possible. Could you emphasize to our listeners sort of the importance of really fully filling out that online listing, how it's impacting their search results, what exhibitors can do to make sure that they're connecting with the right buyers? I don't know if that's something both of you can touch on, or each of you want to take a turn.
Yeah, for the Omni search, it's only as effective as the information behind it. And that does come directly, as you said, Sean, from the online listing. The fact that the results route the buyers to these filtered lists of exhibitors based on product categories, it's based on what they've selected in their online listing. So if their online listing isn't accurate in terms of what they offer for product categories, then they're not going to show up in these Omni search results. So it's definitely very important that they select accurate categories. It's not about the most categories, because if you think about it, the more accurate your listing reflects what you actually offer, the more qualified the buyers will be. And that's what drives the meaningful conversations on the show floor.
Yeah, and if I could just chime in there a bit as well, we have broad experience across many industries at Map Your Show, dealing with most of the top 10 events that happen in the United States annually. I can tell you, and it's not just a PAC Expo and a PMMI situation. This is for all trade shows. Having great data provides better results to everyone. Great data is a better exhibitor experience because they're going to get better outreach from the attendees, and it's a far better experience for your attendee having that listing filled out. And the way that all of this works in the background with large language models and the databases that are built off of that, if you don't have good data populating it, the results on the other side aren't as good. And now, keep in mind, we don't just look at exhibitor listings. We're going out and doing a little bit of digging on the internet as well. So we're trying to bring in more information. We're also very keyed in on behavior. So to match all of that up and come up with those overlapping areas of interest, filling out your listing is an exhibitor priority number one, making sure you have the right categories. What you do, putting all the categories in, that shotgun approach will not be effective anymore, not with the way AI works. You really want to drill down to the right categories and focus on that. If it's a stool, think of it, the third leg of that stool is making sure you take advantage of the opportunities that are provided either in press releases and or products that can be uploaded. PMMI has great packages for listings that you can put in on the show and provide more information. All of that is read by these LLMs, and all of that is indexed to make sure that we're providing the right information back to the attendees. So taking advantage of everything that's given to you by the association in this case, and making sure that you're filling all of that in is an absolute must. And I can tell you, from the broad experience that I mentioned, it's amazing how many exhibitors don't take advantage of the things that are given to them, and that are not a cost. It's something that they need to be doing and filling out. It's really important.
Speaking of things that are going to be available to them, we touched on a bunch of great products and projects you guys are working on. Are these things ready to go? Are they coming down the pike? When can our listeners expect to see them?
Exhibitors can expect OmniSearch to launch in early May. Okay. So between now and the launch dates is important of getting the online listing updated. That way, as soon as it goes live, they're ready to be found the moment buyers start searching.
Perfect. Yeah, and Sales Accelerator is part of the buying process right now for packages, and the exhibitors can go in and look at that. They can, in many cases, run free reports to see what it's all about and to see what that looks like. So that functionality is available. MYS Connected, that's going to launch right around the same time, I believe, in May. It'll be on the website. And that's plenty of time for the attendees that are planning. That, if anything, now attendees are going closer to the show for their planning. Planning is condensed, not extended, even though those things will be available in advance. And so May timeframe for Connected.
Perfect. This has been great. It really hammered home the all roads kind of lean back to the online listing for exhibitors. Making sure your data is correct is going to help with both of these products. So I want to thank you, Jessica, and thank you, Don, for taking time out of your days to come on here and help our listeners out.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to. It was fun. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Unpacked with PMMI. If you liked what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. That way, you won't miss any of the industry insights coming your way. While you're there, we'd really appreciate a rating or review. Want more? Visit pmmi.org/podcasts for all of our past episodes and additional resources. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time.